Hey everyone, I wanted to do a very raw sit down and just kind of talk about the last year of my life, stuff that I wasn't able to put out and now I can. And I definitely feel like I am ready to talk about it, even though I'm struggling, honestly. Since April, May, I've been struggling bad, especially with my depression, with my disease, and it's just been, it doesn't stop, and I don't know sometimes how much more I can take, just because it's it just piles and piles and piles and it doesn't end. And I really try to be optimistic, but when truly everything I'm about to say has been happening since April and it doesn't stop, I was hoping starting this new year it would, but it just seems like it kind of piled over. I'll probably start first with my job. So if you guys know, I am disabled, so it does give me limitations on what jobs I can and can't do. And lately, to be honest, it's been a reality check turning 30 last year and realizing I can't do everything, and it's very frustrating. So I was working, and everything I'm about to say, I'm not giving any names, places, stuff like that, because I'm not dealing with it. I don't deserve to deal with it, and these people wasted enough of my time and made me feel so undervalued and awful about myself every day when I would go in. I was literally just there for my students at one point, because my students were everything. They were great. They were incredible children to be able to work with. So I worked in a classroom, and it was 2 years, and then it just seemed like there was a lot of just stuff going on that shouldn't. Teachers getting fired, teachers ripping kids around by their arms and stuff, and it just wasn't appropriate. As the things were happening in front of my eyes, I would definitely watch what I was doing, and it just got to the point where I did not want to be there anymore. I had people lying about me, and then if you went to report these people, nothing were to happen. I mean, mind you, this is just one example. I worked with a woman who was looking up pictures of one of the students' deceased family member. Who does that? Also having your phone out in the classroom. I just, there was just a lot of stuff that was just a no-no, and I don't know how they got away with it. And I just, I was this needs to be a separation thing, because I could not take it anymore. And just the stuff that was going on. Stewart and Biscuit, stop. I'm trying to make a video, and you've been in the tree for 5 minutes, please. I just ran around for a solid 5 minutes chasing the cats out of the tree. Oh my God. Anyways, between doing that job and tattooing, there was way too much going on. I couldn't take it anymore. So once that kind of cut ties, I just felt really, really unsure of where I was going in my life and what was happening. Still kind of am. And it's just, I don't think when you're working a steady job and paying bills, and then all of a sudden that happens, and mind you, this was April, now it's a new year, this is going to be a year later in April, and I'm still trying to get myself up from where I was, because the situation was just so bad. I still think about it, and it gets me mad, because I'm is this real life? Did I actually go through this? Because it was terrible. I just had no income, not knowing that was gonna happen. Mind you, I was planning my 30th, because it's April, it was a month away. It's just, nothing mattered anymore, because I'm just wow, that was my whole livelihood because of one person. I just feel to this day, if I could sue that organization, I think I would, for everything that went on, because it's all on camera. I mean, I worked with another colleague who would scream bloody murder at her students. I think working at a place like this, I don't think I'm having children in the future. I'm pretty fucking disabled, but if I did, I sure as fuck wouldn't ever put my child in a place like that, just because you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, and unless they're telling you. I thought maybe after I got out of that whole situation, stuff would be less stressful, and I feel it kind of just packed on really heavy, and that's when I realized my really bad anxiety, my really bad depression, and just everything swirling at one time, how am I gonna do this? My car has been an absolute joke this year. I feel so taken over. I even went with family to get the car, like when I got the loan 3 years ago. And yeah, it's just a piece of shit. It is like breaking down. I've put in over $1,000, and I think actually, well, I go on Monday, but I think it is a transmission. I'm gonna have to put in more money for it because I owe on it and I can't just get rid of it. It just seemed like after that happened, then the car, I have like a family member who's been very, very sick on and off, and that really takes a toll, I think, when you don't know if you're gonna get a call that somebody is going to die, which I'm still going through that. I'm so happy I was able to spend the holidays with them, but that journey is still going. And it's just, I feel like with having ADHD, there's so many things going on and getting pushed in my direction, and I can't handle them all. Standing back from just like all of that kind of stuff, medically, I feel like I've just been a joke. I want to say it was around, this was before my car incident. If you guys don't know that, I'll explain that in a minute. But before my whole car incident, my stomach was just not allowing me to eat. Everything was coming up, or I couldn't eat at all. I lost so much weight. It was awful. I ended up undergoing a procedure, and they said nothing was wrong. And I guess it was my vagus nerve in my stomach just playing games because of having my main disease. It does that sometimes. It just messes with you. Like today's a flare day. I feel awful right now. My body's on fire. This shoulder feels like it's dislocated. It feels like it's just hanging off my body right now. And if you could imagine that, or have ever had like a broken bone or like a really swollen muscle, it feels like that, truly. Like my disease is so painful, and I feel like I wish there's just more knowledge about it, because to live in pain truly 24/7 and it doesn't get any better, like how is that worth a life of living, in my opinion? Maybe some people disagree, but I sure don't. I noticed this year too I have medical induced alopecia. We've been following it. I've been talking about it for a while, and I just feel like last year was like my breaking point with it. It's really hard to look at myself like this because I never thought it would get like to the point, like, yeah, there's length there. I don't even trim it anymore. I tried to give myself bangs in the fall to see if I could like maybe try to cover the sides where the receding's bad. There's a lot in the back that are bald spots. So then I'll try to counteract it by not taking the medicine. Then I'm in so much pain from not taking the medicine. It's just it's very like a lose-win battle, because as long as the medication's in my system, it's gonna keep ripping apart my hair. And I hate when people are like, well, your hair looks okay, or it's not healthy because it's blonde. Blonde has nothing to do with it. This was the color before, you know. It's just when you have something like that, alopecia, you should do fun stuff to your hair. You should do that, because yeah, bleach and chemicals aren't good, but they're better than they used to be. And I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure the medicine is way worse than me just putting a little bit of fun color in my hair. So I'm kind of sick of people harping on that one. As you can see, I'm trying to get it to grow out because I want to see how thin it looks. Also, you can see it looks insanely oily. I just washed it and conditioned it. I think it doesn't know what to do. I think my hormones are freaking out because it's like, do we over oil it? Is it too dry? Like, it's just fucked. And without having a wig on, it's just hard looking at it without getting upset about it, if I'm being honest. I really need to get myself a new wig too. I have like a lot that I got in the beginning, and obviously if you're not getting high priced wigs, they're not going to last forever over time. So that's another thing I've been trying to look at. But like, my car comes first, obviously Biscuit comes first. I need to get a test done for him that it's just like astronomical. It's just, I hate struggling and then I'm trying to find a way and it just doesn't add up. I feel like even when I try to make money off of eBay anymore, the shipping prices are insane and people don't want to pay high shipping, which I get that. That's insane if your item's $5, but to ship it, you're paying like $8 or $9. Like, that's just, it's insane. And from what I'm reading and what my local post office is saying, they're not going to put down the upped prices they had from Christmas. They're going to keep them as like the normal, which is insane. I just don't, I do feel like they just make it so difficult to do anything like with your life, at least if you're disabled, in my opinion. I think that's where I've been lately with frustration, because like my disability gets in the way of so many things and it gets me just so pissed off, because I feel like life could literally be such an easy walk if I didn't have to have the shit going on, and I just hate it, and there's nothing I can do about it. I've really been trying to stay positive lately, and it is just so difficult too, because I just feel like this all the time. I don't want to put my makeup on. I don't want to get ready. Like I said, my shoulder, I'm in excruciating pain right now. It's just, like, value has been, like, deteriorating in my opinion, and I feel like when I'm struggling to try to figure out what's gonna come next, I'm over it. I'm like, do I want to just tattoo and do social media online? But as we know, that doesn't pay anything. I mean, TikTok's leaving. I never got paid off of TikTok, which is my main platform, which is hilarious. I just feel like I can't keep up with anything. I have orders I need to get out. I have just, everything just piles up, and then it's like with my ADHD, I know I need to do it, but like I've been so overwhelmed that I'm just like, I don't want to, and I just hate being sick. I'm so over it. I hate looking the part. This is why I love dressing up and putting my hair on, and just, I want to look like everybody else. I don't want to look like something's wrong, and I feel like when you look at me, you can tell I'm sick, something's wrong. She doesn't feel well. And it's so fucking disheartening, and I hate it. So, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I just like to come here and vent, and I definitely needed to do that. I've been feeling like that for weeks. I'm like, what else do I have to mention? Oh yeah, my depot shot from October of 2024. If you didn't see that video, long story short, I have birth control shots. I was given one incorrectly, and I think it damaged or maybe really messed with my muscle, because this was October and we are in January now, and I am still in pain, so something's wrong. That's a whole nother story, but I just feel like providers and also like the people who are in these providers' offices scheduling nurses, like they need to learn to not be so rude to people, because the experience that I've had, honestly, with like the whole birth control shot getting messed up and trying to have somebody like listen to what I'm saying, it shouldn't take 3-4 months to get somebody's like listening to me. Mind you, I know it was messed up because they also gave me a second shot to make sure that it actually got into my system, the medicine, because I was like getting very sick. And for me, it sounds stupid, but for somebody with a disability already and has weight issues to get a period, like, girls, cramping, you know what we go through. I'm not keeping any nutrition in my body. So like, I feel like when I wasn't on birth control, I would gain all the weight that like I'd start getting healthy, and then I get so sick because of my illness. I don't know if having that just makes the pain worse, but it would be almost like blacking out and seeing black spots. That's why I do stay on it as well, because like I'm not going through that. That's not fair, especially again, rearing back to the beginning, I go through enough pain every fucking day of my life. So yeah, this was just a venting thing. I actually am going to get my leg looked at in like maybe 20 minutes from the whole depot experience, so we'll have to see what they say to me, an actual like specialist, because when I originally called to be like, can I go somewhere, can you guys help me, they're like, monitor it, then it turned into maybe I should talk to somebody, or maybe I should go to physical therapy. And this was, mind you, not my doctor, some nurse. And I was like, talk to somebody? Okay, I said, I'll talk to somebody about how you guys damaged me with a needle. Like, don't gaslight me. And I feel like some of these places, they do try to gaslight you. So if you're watching and you also have a disability, even if you don't, just stick up for yourself, because just between TikToks, mostly TikTok, honestly, like videos I've seen from people going into like offices and their experiences, it's fucking gross, and nobody should have to go through that. Just because you have a degree in something doesn't mean you're any better than me. If anything, not me, obviously, but there's tattoo artists that make probably as much as doctors. So I just hate when people belittle other people, and you can tell they are, because of different things like that. So just always stick up for yourself. I feel like some of these like doctors, they just think their shit doesn't stink and they can do and say whatever, and they can go collect their paycheck. And no, it's not that easy. We aren't just reproduced like mass cookie cutter people. Like, we are all individual, and we have our own individual issues going on, and you can't just say that for each person unless you're evaluating each one accordingly. So I just had to say that because this shit's been pissing me the fuck off as well. Okay. I love you guys, and I'll probably see you in a shorts somewhere sometime soon.